Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to crack a really tricky code in the English language. I'm talking about those combinations of verbs and prepositions. You know, if you've ever found yourself wondering why we say turn the light off, but look him at sounds completely wrong, well, you are in exactly the right place.
All right, let's just dive right in by setting up the central mystery we are going to solve together today.
So let's start with the big question. Why is a sentence like I turned the light off perfectly normal English, but something like I looked him at is just, well, it's totally wrong. I mean, they look like they follow the same pattern, but one just sounds broken. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly why.
To solve this puzzle, we really only need two key rules. So let's get started with the first and, honestly, the simplest one. I like to call this the stick together rule.
Okay, so this first group we're looking at, they're called prepositional verbs. And the best way to think of them is like they've got grammar glue. The verb and its preposition are totally inseparable. They really just act like a single unit. And you see these things every single day. Listen to, look at, depend on. From now on, when you see them, just think grammar glue. These two words are always going to stick together. And this is why that whole stick together thing really matters. You just can't say, I listen music. It feels wrong, right? That's because the real verb here isn't just listen, it's listen to. That preposition isn't optional at all. It's a critical part of the whole meaning. So what comes after this grammar glue? The object. And what's really cool is that this object is super flexible. It can be a simple noun, like music, or a pronoun like him, or even another action that ends in ing, which, we call a gerund. Here is a perfect example of that using a gerund. He apologized for being late. See? Our inseparable pair is apologized for, and the object of that apology is the action being late. The structure is so clean. You have the verb-preposition pair, and then you have the object. All right, so you've totally mastered the first rule. Now let's add just a little bit more complexity with a three-part structure that's every bit as important. Now, with this type of verb, there's always an object that comes between the verb and its preposition. Think of it like a mandatory sandwich. You've got the verb, then the first object, then the preposition, and finally, a second object. Let's look at a real example here. The verb is accused. The first object, the person being accused, is him. Then comes our preposition, of, and that's followed by the second object, stealing the car. You see? You can't say they accused of him. The structure is totally fixed. And here's another one. Who did I thank? Her. That's object one. What did I thank her for? The lovely gift. That's object two, and it comes right after the preposition for. It's a really common and natural-sounding pattern once you get the hang of it. Okay, team, we've laid the groundwork. Now it's time for the big reveal. Let's finally solve the puzzle that we started with at the beginning. So let me introduce you to the other side of the family, phrasal verbs. Now these look pretty similar, but they have a superpower. They're flexible. That little word that follows the verb, we call it a particle, can often be separated from the verb by an object. And this is the key difference. And here it is, our aha moment. On the left, with the phrasal verb turn off, you've got options. I turned the light off, and I turned off the light are both 100% correct. But on the right, with the prepositional verb look at, you've got that grammar glue. It has to stick together. And that, right there, is why I looked him at is wrong. Puzzle solved. So you've learned the rules, you've seen the difference. Now let's really lock in that knowledge with a quick, fun little challenge. Are you ready for this? Okay, first one up. I want you to think about that three-part structure we just talked about. Verb, object one, preposition, object two. What's the missing piece here?
That's it. It's for. She thanked me for helping her. That's a perfect three-part structure. Really nice job. Okay, let's try another one. Same pattern. Congratulate is one of those verbs that just loves that three-part structure. So, what preposition do we need here? And the answer is on. They congratulated him on his promotion. See? You're totally getting this. Okay, last challenge. Are these prepositional or phrasal? The test is simple. Can you split them up? For number one, looking for my keys. Can you say looking my keys for? No way. So that's prepositional. Okay, how about number two, put off the meeting? Can you say put the meeting off? Yes, you absolutely can. That makes it phrasal. try that same test on the last two. How'd you do? Fantastic. So look, if you remember just one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Prepositional verbs are grammar glue. They always stick together. Phrasal verbs are the flexible ones. They can often be separated. I promise you, this one distinction will make so many things clearer.
And that really brings us to the end. But the real learning, it begins when you start to use the stuff. So my question for you is, what new combination are you going to actively try to use in a sentence today? Whether it's depend on or put off, just give it a shot. Thanks so much for joining me.